So if the light starts flickering, we put it in.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Brian, how are you?
Doing good. How about
Good.
yourself?
We're doing well, thank you. Lori called a little bit ago, and she'll be a few minutes late, but she's on her way. So we'll go ahead and get started here. June 18, 2025, at 3 minutes after 7. Planning Commission meeting, City of Woodland Hills, Utah. First on the agenda is a public hearing. The public hearing was properly noticed, and it pertained to the city's wildland urban interface code. Ted Mickelson and I were reviewing this a number of weeks ago and realized that our ordinance never included the adoption of the wildland interface code. It adopted parts of it, but not it in total. And both the international and the Utah, they're different, a lot of similarities between the two of them. So Ted suggested that we go ahead then and go through the process of posting this notice, looking for input, and considering it planning commission, and it would go on to the city council. So we'll open this for public hearing. Should there be any who wish to make comment on it? There's no one here tonight. I don't see anybody online. Brian, any comments you wish to make? Okay. So we will go ahead and close the public hearing on it, as there are no comments to be made, and then we'll take that up later on our agenda here tonight. Discussion. We'll move into our meeting agenda. Larry, would you offer invocation for us tonight? And Simon, would you offer a pledge or lead us in a pledge?
Love to.
Okay, go ahead, Larry.
Heavenly Father, we call upon you in prayer, being Woodland Hills Planning Commission. Grateful for the opportunity to work together and help make decisions, have discussions about what happens in our community. Grateful for the opportunity to serve. We're grateful for this community and this free land in which we live, and the opportunities we have with friends, family, and neighbors. We do have many things to be grateful for. I pray that we might always be thankful. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Present for tonight's meeting are Severin Johnson, Larry Henry, Simon Cushman, John Stout, myself, Wayne Franson, and Lori Thomas will be here shortly. She's running a little bit late.
There she is.
There we go. I don't see anybody here for public comment or online, so we'll move through that part of the agenda unless any of you wish to make any kind of public comment on anything. Okay. Um, Next item on the agenda, number 6, approval of the May 21, 2025 meeting minutes. Larry, do you want to share?
I'm sorry, I got sidetracked, and so I don't have those, but we did have a very short meeting. And, covered those 3 items that we needed to, had a public hearing, had some good input, and I'll get those organized and to you, and maybe we can approve them next month.
Okay. There's an alternative.
Oh,
Jody went in and did a little AI magic with the recording
okay.
of the minutes. So let me read through this. It's kind of a summary draft of the minutes, and since none of you have it, let me share this with you, and it can form the basis, I think, for the minutes. Presiding was Vice Chair Larry Henry. The public hearing, there were 2 issues: amendments to the accessory dwelling ADU ordinance, and the second was proposed changes to City Code 1016-9 to allow driveway gates. Public participation, no members of the public attended or provided comment. Relative to the commission discussion, the gate functionality and inspections, the planning commission debated if the city should re-inspect gates after repair and how to ensure compliance. Language was proposed to require property owners to notify the city once a gate is repaired, and then the importance of a follow-up inspection by the city was agreed upon. A $500 fine clause. Concerns were raised about fairness if fines were imposed immediately after the gate fails a test. A consensus emerged that fines should only apply if issues aren't resolved within a set period, such as 30 days. There was additional discussion emphasized public safety if gates block emergency access, especially when manually chained. Another subtopic, manual versus automatic testing. It was agreed that the city should have the option to test gates at least once yearly, removing the word manually for clarity. Gate placement, a requirement amended to mandate gates be installed a minimum of 20 feet from the street property line, increased from 19 feet. Then they went into the regular meeting, invocation given by Severin Johnson, Pledge of Allegiance led by John Stout. I did double duty with you, John. Giving. Oh no, it was Simon did.
That's true.
Doing
That's
that.
true.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Then the meeting minutes for the previous meeting were not approved.
We didn't have them.
You didn't have them? Okay. And that's my fault.
Just
So we
following
need
after
to-
your exam.
We need to address that later. Motions and voting. A motion recommending the ADU ordinance changes to the council. Severin Johnson motioned it, second by John Stout, voted unanimously approved. Motion number 2, amend City Code 1016-9 on driveway gates. Amendments included removal of the word manually from section 6, addition of at least once yearly to gate testing language, clarification that the city will retest gates after repair, and gate placement change to 20 feet from the property line. Motion by John Stout to accept those changes and the motion, and seconded by Severin Johnson. Motion passed unanimously. And then 7:40, there was a motion by Severin to adjourn, seconded by John Stout. Meeting adjourned. So Jody pulled these together using some AI, chat AI or whatever. I'm not sure what it was, but that's the essence
Works for
of
me.
the minutes. Are any issues or corrections that?
More accurate than I.
Then when I do it.
Best meeting minutes we've had. That's way more detailed. That's really good.
So I'll take a motion in on those, on the minutes. Approve it.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Larry, if you would go ahead and fill in the blank on that, and I can send these to you if there's any little changes and
Okay.
things that,
No,
about
I
the
think
discussion, but it looked pretty complete, I think.
It's very good.
So, okay. We have this wildland urban interface code. As I mentioned, we realized that we had not adopted it. We thought that we had in our ordinances, and we hadn't. So this reads, adoption of the International Wildland Urban Interface Code, the nationally recognized International Wildland Interface or Urban Interface Code is as adopted and used in the International Building Code, IBC, or the International Residential Code, IRC, as it may be amended from time to time, is hereby adopted by the City of Woodland Hills and would be followed in all building construction. That's part A. And part B then is the Utah. It says adoption of the Utah Wildland Urban Interface Code. The Utah Wildland Urban Interface Code, as adopted by the state of Utah, as may be amended from time to time, is hereby adopted by the City of Woodland Hills and will be followed in all building construction. Should there be any conflict between the International Wildland Urban Interface Code and the Utah Wildland Urban Interface Code, the more strict interpretation will be followed. And C is a penalty. Any violation of either of these two codes in paragraphs A or B may be punishable by a fine as outlined in the city fee schedule or charged as a Class C misdemeanor. So that's what the code, what we're proposing, that the city adopt that in our Title IX. Any discussion or questions?
Is the city following these codes now? They are, aren't they?
We
This
are
is just-
parts of them. We,
Is it gonna change our building
no,
construction?
because what the city is following is encompassed in these statutes. So it's just more specific to certain things, but they will be encompassed within these. We may probably just keep the specifics the way we have, but basically there's a repeat in the way that these are worded that would be adopting the Utah one and the international. So let me take a vote and share some. Is there a motion to adopt those into our city code?
Also move.
Okay, Larry made a motion. Second?
Second it.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Recently we got word that the fire chiefs throughout Utah have been in discussions with the legislature on road width. And the issue is, general feeling is some of the roads in the state are not wide enough for a fire engine to turn around on a road without probably a lot of back and forth and going off the road and coming back on it. So there's discussion was having to do with changing the width of roads in a city. This is restricted to city roads, not highway roads. And there was the fire people wanted, I'm trying to think if it was 35, 38 feet wide, and the opposing view of that was like around 28, 30 feet wide. And so there was an agreement between these two groups for it's not a requirement, it's not law, but for cities to adopt a 32-foot road standard. Now that's paved width. Right now, our paved width generally is 25 feet for pavement. And then we have a greater right of way than that, but the paved part is right now. Ours is 25 feet, and that's in our own code. But other cities have various widths. And so it was suggested then that cities adopt at least a 32-foot wide pavement width as we go forward. Nothing is going to be done to go back and try to enlarge rights of way or pavement width, but this is just going forward. So we'll be putting another ordinance together to propose that in the city and go to city council then for their final vote on it. So
Increase cost, at least 30%.
it is, keep in mind, the cost is to the developer of the property.
It's a good idea. 25 is too stinking
It is,
full favor, even though it's paying for those roads.
yeah. Ted felt that too. What we might do, and we need to discuss it further, probably Ted and I, and then come to this planning commission and go to the city council, is to not increase our right-of-way in a commensurate number, but maybe cut down on the size of the ditch. Our ditch standard is 6 foot wide. And as Ted has looked at that, he feels it's excessive. So we may cut down the ditch width to 4 feet wide and then use that 2 feet at least to increase from 25 to 28. And then we need to make some further adjustments in the right-of-way width. We would likely increase the right-of-way, but not from 25 to 32 feet. You look puzzled, Severin.
Well,
I'm not
you
making
said
myself clear.
It's now 6 feet,
The ditches,
the ditches.
yes,
Take it down to 4 feet.
yes.
That's 4 feet, 2 feet on each side of the road.
No, it'd each be 4 feet on each side of the road, the ditch.
I know, but before it was 6 feet.
6 feet on each side of the road.
So we're cutting it down by 4
Oh, I
feet.
see what you're saying. Yeah.
So really,
So
we're going
it'd be a
from
reduction of 4 feet.
25 to 29. So we've got another 3 feet is what we would have to make up.
Yeah, that's right. So we have, at least where we have curb and gutter, we have plenty of room to do that. We've got a parking strip now, so that would be lessened some in future road construction. And a little here, a little there, and we may increase too the right of way by a couple of feet to
How
make
big
a
is
bit
the
difference.
entire right of way that we
56 feet.
have from
including the 25-foot.
Salem's is 66. You got 5 feet of sidewalk on each side, an 8-foot park strip, and then a 2-foot curb and gutter, and then a 33-foot.
Theirs is 36 feet wide then, the pavement.
Is it 36?
I don't know, I'm asking.
I think it's 30. I think it is 32. Or
32,
For some
okay.
reason, my brain, I have 33, but that can't be right. Yeah, it's a 5, a 8, and then a 2, and then whatever's left after that, the 66 is paved.
Okay.
But we only have sidewalk on one side, so that could help too. We say, well, we don't, which I know is somewhat
We changed that.
controversial.
We changed the sidewalk
Okay.
to both sides.
I
We don't
actually
have
like
any
that.
new construction with that yet.
Sure.
But we do have the Four Seasons, which is just on the one side.
Yeah, and I live down there, and it would be nice if it was on both sides.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the reason, it's kind of a poor reason, is the city didn't want to maintain sidewalks on both sides of the road. They're okay to maintain them on one side, but the way our ordinance is written, the residents have responsibility to maintain the sidewalk with snow removal and so forth.
But the city is responsible for the replacement.
Yeah, if there's broken,
Doesn't happen that often.
yeah,
You have a big oak tree or something, that's gonna be.
I'll be a ways off. Somebody else will worry about it.
Problem.
We just
So-
have, we just have little oak trees.
Yeah. Pine trees, but not too many. Well, we've got some oak trees, yeah. We get acorns scattered around all the time, so. We got scrub oak, I don't know. They don't seem to grow into big trees, but. So that's something that will be coming before us here as we get that worked out. Just share that for your information. The next item on the agenda, I wanted to share with you, and I made a copy for all of you. The state passed a law in this last legislative session having to do with the title of building official and put requirements on the building official to be certified in 4 or 5 areas of building inspection, that they had to be qualified to do that, as well as other building official duties. As we looked at that, and as other cities, very, very few cities have a person presently in that position that is qualified for it according to state law. So we've talked to the main person in the state administration having to do with building, and what cities are doing is they're changing the title of the person who oversees the city building to community development director. And then they're going to be contracting out to a building inspection service, like we use Sunrise right now, who generally has a person who is qualified in these inspection areas. And that person then will be responsible for issuing certificates of occupancy, temporary certificates of occupancy, and there's another certificates of completion where it's a remodel. We haven't used those too often. We have incorrectly used certificates of completion. But certificates of completion, as we've studied it, pertains to the whole structure, not just remodeling a bedroom or remodeling a living room. So the standard seems to be certificates of completion where a particular part of whatever the remodel was has been inspected and approved. They're not inspecting the whole structure. But that'll be the building official's responsibility. And in our city, that building official won't be, he'll be a contract person. But once all the inspections are done and we document all those inspections, and we've got there's a paper there that shows when the inspections were done, then we'll go to Sunrise, as an example, and tell them that everything has been completed to our knowledge, and will look then for a certificate of occupancy from them. And that building official, qualified building official, then will go ahead and sign on the certificate of occupancy. So to do that requires a change in all of our titles, in our code, from building official, which Ted has been, to community development director, which he will now become. So that's what this document is. And I just wanted to alert all of you to that change. We have until December, I think, or January to make the change. We've got this all done, so we're probably going to do it before January. But that's what this is. All the places that we'll need to make the changes, from building official to community development director, be adding a new title to our code of community development director, and go forward with it that way. So, and I just wanted to kind of alert you all to that. So Ted won't have the title any longer once this is adopted, a building official. He'll be community development director and still be doing all those things, with the exception of issuing those certificates. He'll be issuing building permits and all the other stuff that he does related to that. It's just those three things that we're doing here. This is to comply with state. Any questions on that?
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's in most cities, Salem included, in a big city, they don't have a qualified person to do that. Ed felt it would probably take him a couple of years to attend all those classes and get those certifications that are required. And felt it wasn't economically feasible.
But Sunrise does have that, for example.
They do.
They could step right in.
Yep, they can step right in
Great.
and we'll pay them a little more money and
Yeah.
get that service from them. Brian, did you understand that? You have any questions about it?
I think there's going to be a lot of code changes for the new title. But the fees should come out of the building permit fees, I would think, that we're going to be paying. So we might have to look at that because of the additional cost. But no, it makes sense for smaller cities. And it's state law. We don't have much of a choice.
The guy with Sunrise, he's been contacted by 2 or 3 different cities already.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and this is agreeable to the state, the way of handling this. There's 8 pages of changes here that we'll need to make to our code to change those names. And then we make a new definition for the responsibilities of the community development director. It's close, a little more detailed than we had before with what the building official was doing. It articulates them a little bit better. So. Anything else that, we can't vote on anything else, but any other discussions that any of you have on anything? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Lori, can you check on voting off?